Hello there. There is a worry that a lot of us have as we get older, the fear that our memory might start to slip. It's a really sensitive topic, I know, but it's so important to talk about. Because what if some of that forgetfulness we experience isn't just an inevitable part of aging? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something that might be quietly messing with your memory, something that could be sitting right there in your own medicine cabinet. So let's get into it. Does any of this sound familiar? You walk into a room and you stop and think, now what did I come in here for? Or you're right in the middle of a great conversation and a word you've used 1,000 times just vanishes. Or my personal favorite, you spend 10 frantic minutes searching for your keys, only to realize they've been in your hand the entire time. It's so frustrating, right? And it can even be a little unnerving. It's so easy to just laugh it off and call it a senior moment. And that's what we all tend to do, isn't it? We say, oh, it's just my age, it's normal. But here's the thing I really want us to explore today. A growing amount of research is telling us that sometimes it's not just your age. The real cause of that mental fog could actually be linked to some of the most common pills, both prescription and over-the-counter, that we take every single day. So in this explainer, we're going to put 3 very, very common types of medication under the microscope. We're talking about drugs that millions of us take, often for years at a time, and we'd never even suspect they could be having this kind of impact on our brain health. Okay, first up on our list, benzodiazepines. These are some powerful drugs. They're often prescribed to help calm down anxiety, to manage periods of high stress, or to help you get to sleep when insomnia hits. And honestly, they can feel like a lifesaver, bringing you that sense of peace and quiet when your mind is racing. But there might be a hidden cost. I love this analogy for understanding how they work. Think of it like trying to drive your car, but with the handbrake pulled up just a little bit all the time. See, benzodiazepines work by boosting a chemical in your brain called GABA, which is basically your brain's natural brake pedal. At first, it just slows things down, and that feels calming. But when that brake is always being pressed, your brain's normal functions, well, they start to get sluggish. Your ability to think on your feet, your reaction time, it all suffers. And the long-term studies on this are, well, they're pretty alarming. Research has shown that folks who use benzodiazepines for more than just 3 months have a staggering 51% higher risk of developing dementia later in life. That's a huge number. The short-term relief these pills provide could come at a very, very high price for your mind down the road. So this is the really practical part. It's so important to know the names. You might recognize brand names like Ativan, Valium, or Xanax, but if you look at your prescription bottle and you see the words lorazepam, diazepam, or alprazolam, that's the category of drug we're talking about right here. Now for our second group, anticholinergics. And this category is, well, it's massive. And what's really concerning here is that you can find these drugs everywhere, not just in prescriptions for things like an overactive bladder, but in common, everyday cold and allergy medicines that many of us just grab off the shelf without giving it a second thought. To get how these work, I want you to picture your mind as a giant library filled with all your memories and knowledge. Anticholinergic drugs block a key chemical messenger called acetylcholine. And acetylcholine, it's like the library's entire cataloging system. It's what helps you find and retrieve information. When it's blocked, the books, all your memories, are still there on the shelves, but you've lost the system to find them. You know the information is in there somewhere, you just can't quite get to it. And the science on this is pretty sobering. One huge study found that people who take these medications regularly over the long term had a 54% higher risk of developing dementia. And that risk just keeps climbing the longer you take them. It really adds up over time. And just look at how common these are. That main ingredient in something like Benadryl, that's diphenhydramine, a potent anticholinergic. Same goes for prescription drugs for bladder control, like oxybutynin, and even some medicines for dizziness, depression, and the common cold. They're so common, it's very possible to be taking them without having any idea about the potential risk to your brain. Okay, the third group we need to talk about is proton pump inhibitors, or as they're often called, PPIs. Millions and millions of people take these every day for acid reflux and heartburn. And many take them for years, even decades, thinking they're totally harmless, almost like a daily vitamin. But the reality, it might be a bit more complicated. Think about the electrical wiring in your house. It's all covered in insulation to make sure the signals go where they're supposed to. Well, that's kind of what can happen to your brain's wiring when you take PPIs long term. You see, these drugs are fantastic at blocking stomach acid, but you actually need that acid to absorb certain nutrients, especially vitamin B12. And B12 is absolutely vital for maintaining the protective coating around your nerves, the insulation. Without enough B12, your nerve signals can start to misfire, leading to that feeling of mental confusion and memory trouble. And this isn't just a guess. Studies are now showing that people who take PPIs for more than 4 years have a 28% higher risk of developing dementia. So every pill you take, year after year, could be creating this quiet nutritional problem that slowly affects how your brain works. So, one more time, let's check that medicine cabinet. These drugs are well known by brand names like Prilosec, Protonix, or Nexium. If you see omeprazole, pantoprazole, or esomeprazole on that label, you're taking a PPI. Okay, I realize all of this information can sound pretty heavy, even a bit scary. But now I want to completely shift gears, because the most important part of this whole conversation is that you are not powerless here. Not at all. There is good news, and there are very clear, concrete things you can do to protect your brain. But first, and please listen very carefully to this is the most critical point I'm going to make today. You should never, ever stop taking a prescribed medication just on your own. Suddenly stopping can be very dangerous and cause serious problems. The goal here is not to create fear. The goal is to empower you with knowledge so you can have a better conversation with your doctor. So, what's the right way to handle this? Well, it's a simple 3-step plan. First, make an appointment to talk with your doctor. Go in prepared with your concerns about memory and a full list of every single medication you take. And yes, that includes over-the-counter stuff and supplements. Second, ask them directly, are there any safer alternatives for me that have less of an impact on my thinking? And third, start being proactive yourself. You can adopt lifestyle habits that actively support and strengthen your brain, starting today. And the great news is alternatives really do exist. For anxiety and insomnia, things like cognitive behavioral therapy or even simple relaxation techniques can be amazingly effective. For acid reflux, sometimes just making small changes to your diet can make a world of difference, maybe even eliminating the need for a long-term pill. For issues like bladder control, specific exercises can work wonders. The key is to open up that conversation and explore what's right for you with a professional you trust. All right, let's wrap all of this up into a clear, simple action plan. These are the key things I really hope you take away from our time together today. First, and maybe most importantly, please don't automatically write off forgetfulness as just age. It could be a signal of something else. Second, become an informed patient. Know the potential risks of the medications you're taking. Third, make your doctor your true partner in health. Sit down with them regularly to review your entire list of medications. The goal is always to find the safest, most effective treatment for you. And finally, never forget this. You are your own best health advocate. Your questions matter. Your concerns are valid. You are in the driver's seat. When it comes to your health, knowledge really is power. If you found this information helpful and you want to keep getting clear, reliable health insights just like this, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. It truly helps us keep making content that we hope can make a real difference. And we really do want to hear from you. Your questions and your experiences are what fuel everything we do here. Is there another health topic that's on your mind? Something you're curious about? Let us know what you'd like us to break down in our next explainer. Just drop a note in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching and be well.